Secret friends, unite!
Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast, episode 536. This is your guide to the geek side, and I am one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, living the dream in Minnesota, and I survived one of the craziest concerts I've been to in all of my life with my son.
Ooh, mosh pit?
Oh,
yeah.
My goodness. There was a mosh pit, but I was on the balcony of it.
I can see Todd in a mosh pit, little guy getting flung around.
I was doing that in Lollapalooza my senior year at Milan Dragway in Michigan. So
I remember Lollapalooza. I went to 2, I think. Nothing crazy, though. Oh, yes. My goodness. But anyway, yeah. So I'm Charlie. Hello. And we have a guest who Todd insisted I knew, but I do not know. But now I know him. Sounds like a great guy.
Yes, Delvin Cox. Welcome, Delvin. He's the host of the Delvin Cox Experience and also multiple PSVG shows. You were doing it without
all the PSVG
Donnie.
Shows.
Yeah, you were doing it without Donnie. So you and Dev were doing it and take it to the house. Went arrive very quickly because there were some things said that I'm like, just, you know what? Hopefully Donnie didn't listen.
He'll be all right.
Oh boy.
Don't leave. That's all. That's your problem. Once you leave the show and leave me in charge, whatever's said, that's on you. That's your problem.
My God.
Yeah. So we are here to discuss the Fantastic Four review, our nerdy stuff, and then we're going to do a little bit of a just overall review, and then we'll get into spoilers in the back half. So anybody who doesn't see it right away can listen to this and just say it's a yay or a nay. So with that, though, Charlie, please tell the people all about our awesome Patreons.
Oh, my goodness. Well, as he said, great show today. I'm very excited to talk about this movie. But first and foremost, we always talk about the absolutely spectacular folks over on our Secret Friends Unite Patreon squad at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. Exclusive programs, early shows, no ad shows, exclusive Discord channel. You get the ball rolling with a free week, up to 50% or 50% off for that first month. And then you can stay on board as little as $2 a month. It's like you're losing money if you're not doing this because there's so much value and it's crazy. Folks like my buddy Derek Trevelyan, who just messaged me, he took his son, who's about 10 years old, to see Fantastic Four. First Marvel film he ever saw on the big screen. This is very exciting. Francie, my wife got her hair done today. Francie's a huge fan of our Bad Movies podcast that my wife and I do. Luke Lord, Mr. Xbox Expansion Pass, my Uncle Tim down in South Haven, Michigan, are all on board. Also, Johnson Dorff, Brendan Myers, Corey and HD, Matthew Keel, my buddy Kurt Krug, who is he's my unofficial agent, helps me out with all those great interviews I get. Tanya Lee, Chipotle Bear, Famous Seamus, Cam the Movie Man, Jay Newport 007, Prozac Man, a.k.a. Darth Prozac, and Freight Conductor, and absolutely top shelf folks, the Nias family of... are you really changing that again? Are we doing this again? The dude's name is...
I respect his handle. It's FR8. It's not Freight.
So we should be saying FR8 because we've been fighting the devil. We've been fighting about this for about a month.
Because, no, Charlie, it's lead speak, old dude. It's Freight.
Okay, I have a question for you guys.
Please.
Looking at this list of people that you have on your Patreon,
yes,
amazing list.
I agree.
I want to ask you guys this question: which one of these people are most likely a serial killer? I'm looking at Brendan Myers, and I'm thinking,
Brendan,
a serial killer.
I can't
he
comment.
Might be. He's got a kid, but so does Dexter. So
people who give us money, I'm generally on the other side of saying they're serial killers. So I am going to plead the fifth on this one.
People who give you money are most likely serial killers.
Right, exactly.
They feel entitled to a lot of things, maybe even killing us.
I don't want to single them out.
I am allowed to murder someone. That's how that goes.
Oh my God! I'm gonna state judgment on that one.
The Patreon bylaws there.
We don't have a murder tier. If we did, though, the Nias family, Sean, Sal, and Henry, would probably rise to that tier because they are our biggest supporters, and we are very grateful for them. Please visit patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. Try us out for free, and you will be happy that you did. No cover this week. Apparently, we're giving up reading comics. That's a no-no, but we have First Class on the ground. I don't know how she's standing on that wobbly concrete, but our senior news correspondent, Madam Webb, 125 years young, is waiting to give us all the hottest scoops from San Diego Comic-Con 2025. Let's make some magic. Let's do it.
Now it's time for Madam Webb's Rumors and News. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Webb. Well, Madam Webb, I'm sure you remember Delvin, because I believe you're like, who is that dapper man from Miami? He was, I know she was thinking, Delvin, that you might have an in with the Golden Girls, that she could become like their fourth roommate.
Oh,
I think all of them are dead now, so she might even be able to get their apartment rent controlled. I don't know. What do you think?
She has a good chance. Get a shot at it.
Delvin, I just
you're in real estate, right? If I remember it, you're in real estate, right?
That's correct. Also, she keeps flirting with me. She thinks I'm Denzel Washington.
Oh my God. Okay. Also, I have to say, Delvin, welcome to Miami. All right, I'm done.
One of Charlie and I's person we've had on our podcast, I believe she is now living in Miami.
Right? My old girlfriend, Courtney. Yeah, she's a aspiring writer. She was a sommelier, a wine gal, and now she's a writer. So we wish her the best of luck. Great lady. The handful, the ones that are still alive.
Ollie boy, you are.
They all changed their names, Delvin, and moved to Miami for a reason.
Bad idea to stay on social media if you're trying to hide. But anyway, San Diego Comic-Con wraps up today. We're recording on Sunday. Kicked off on Thursday. Earlier, obviously, you're listening to this next week because what we're talking about last week. But oh my God, Todd, there was a lot of stuff going on. And this main link you have has to do with some X-Men stuff. So tell us all about it.
Yeah, this one's more comic book focused, but one of the big things that they announced was there is a new series. Basically, it's a big event called Age of Revelation X-Men. So it's going to be arcing into actually other mainstream Marvel titles as well. There's going to be a Spider-Man take on it, which is pretty cool. And it's essentially renaming all of the teams, which is kind of cool. We've got a title called Unbreakable X-Men. And essentially, this is a 10-year time jump from the current continuity. So it's doing a lot of things with that. They're basically saying, hey, we wanted to do something as cool as the Age of Apocalypse when that came out 30 years ago, which makes me feel like I'm ancient. That was in college. And they want to do something different. So basically we've got, it's going to kick off with X-Men Age of Revelation Overture #1 in October. And then it's going to be, they're actually doing a Marvel Rivals comic. There's going to be a Marvel Cosmic Invasion, obviously, Game 2. So we're going to see some of those things. And there's going to be a new Marvel's Rival King in Black comic that's coming out, which is very big. Ooh. Marvel's next big thing. They announced that Jonathan Hickman, Ryan North, and Stephanie Phillips are going to be doing more things to conclude the One World Under Doom. Ooh. And who will be the next Sorcerer Supreme. And then Hickman has talked about the ending of Imperial, which will lead into a new book called Planet She-Hulk, which Planet Hulk was a thing.
They're going to ship her off.
Yeah, so that's the Marvel stuff. It was kind of cool because it's neat. Marvel feels like they're just willing to try a lot of new stuff, which is cool. But having X-Men kind of a lead-in event, which you don't always get. Sometimes you do get, sometimes you don't. So it's very cool. So anything in the realm of comics from a Marvel lens, any of this stuff pop out to you?
All that stuff sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I didn't do the whole Planet Hulk thing, but She-Hulk is a kind of a household favorite here. So yeah, I think that sounds pretty interesting. And again, it's tough to snag something because we got Marvel Unlimited and you can wait till it comes along. But every once in a while, something really big lands. But yeah, Doom is very hot right now. We're going to obviously talk about how that factors into other things going on. Yeah. So anything to hype up what's going on with him, I find interesting too.
Yeah, I'm old school. I still go to comic book shops and stuff.
Good for you.
I do too. I got a new one, Delvin, like a mile from my house now. It's great. Do you do you buy trades mainly? Do you just get collectibles? What's your habit?
Buy the regular books, the regular single issues,
the floppies.
I go get the trades when they come out, and I get the omnibuses a lot. I gotta like them.
Man, you're a book.
You gotta
guy.
have muscles to lift up those omnibuses.
They're tough. It's tough to balance them in your lap if you're trying to read one. You're like, oh, my back. But I've become largely digital. I have several comic shops I do business with, but it's collectibles really. So yeah.
What's the name of your comic shop?
Well, I have quite a few I go to. The one I usually go to, the big main one, is called Tate's Comics. It's in it's far. It's like Pompano Beach. It's really, really cool.
Yeah,
Go
nice. Good.
It's
There's
not the
another
Android
one.
dungeon. Smells like smells like mustard and
No,
Smells like mustard.
this is a high-end comic book shop. They have like an 8-foot Incredible Hulk statue that's really cool.
Oh, fancy pants.
It's pretty big inside with a whole bunch of stuff. I go there. When I want to go to like a comic book shop that feels cool, I go to that one. And then there's one not too far from my house that also is kind of a cool one as well because they have the bottom floor is comics and the top floor, well, the bottom floor is comics and video game memorabilia, and the top floor is D&D stuff. That was called Nowhere Comics.
Right.
Nowhere, like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Those always have a spectacular smell where the guys sit and play games.
Well, at least you have 2 floors so things rise, right?
Open
so
the windows, let all the funk out. Yeah, absolutely.
And these are like the fancy comic book shop, like the ones that are like really
nice.
I like it.
I love those.
Good deal.
Cool. It's not like how it used to be where it looked like a garage you're walking into and you have to go find comics through all these things. Like, hey, where are your new issues?
Listen to the
Delvin, my comic book shop I had to go to was in Flint, Michigan. So if you know anything about Flint Town, oh God, it was a hole in the ground.
It really has water.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could tell everybody there drank the water in Flint. So it was a mixed bag. Well, very cool. And then we go to DC, and their big thing was Josh Williamson and Scott Snyder were all in on DC, all in. That's what's really drove Absolute. That line is exploded. Batman, Wonder Woman. They've added Flash and Martian Manhunter, and they're looking to go after some new events in Justice League Unlimited, which is cool. I love the fact that they're going back there. There's going to be an Absolute Green Arrow coming out in spring 2026, and then they're doing an Absolute Evil, so it's going to be focused on villains of the new Absolute universe. And I love this take on Absolute. It's kind of like finally DC doing what Ultimate did and really nailing it, which is great.
Nice. That's good.
Evil series was.
Yeah, we've read some of those books. We did one of those over on our Patreon. The first few issues of Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, fresh takes, very nice. When you got comic characters that are pushing 100 years old, if you don't branch out, nobody's going to read them. So I assume when you say it's blown up, I assume they're very popular. They wouldn't be making more of them because that is how sales works. They sell stuff and
it's exploding. The comics are actually exploding. They have explosives within them. Yes.
Ouch.
It's very hard to keep a character that's been around for 50, 60 years, 70 years.
Right.
We're going to be to 100 years very soon. My dad was born the same year that Superman debuted.
39.
Crazy.
So we're just like,
it's 38 and 39. So
we're just about a decade away, which is so crazy. So in our lifetime, those his heroes will hit 100 years. That's just nuts. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What else we got?
So there was a new DC movie, a movie called Batman Azteca. Choque de Imperios. Hey, Delvin, if you want to correct my Spanish, because obviously in Miami, that's part of the culture is the language. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it pretty right.
Sure, why not?
Cool.
Close enough.
My 4 years of Spanish in high school obviously still paying off 30 years later.
65 years ago.
Exactly. But essentially that movie is kind of just an Elseworlds tale of, say, if, there was a legend of a bat-inspired hero within the Aztecs taking on, like, Spanish conquistadors. So kind of cool. The art style, didn't love the animation style, which is weird. I don't know, looked kind of cheap, but kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
We moved.
Like Ninja
go ahead.
Batman, essentially.
Well, Ninja Batman to me is like another level because I watched the two.
Yeah, it said.
I think that is highly artistic, amazing. This one feels a little bit on the cheap, like it's like the studio that does like I don't know, Sonic the Hedgehog, like voicing him.
Sonic the Batman hog. Oh my goodness. And what is this? Do I see something about an audiobook voiced by Phil Morris? Todd, you and I met Phil Morris. Great dude.
Yeah, Phil Morris is great. The Green Lantern and Delvin, I mean, you have something in common. So you do a lot of like voice acting with like audio novels and audio dramas. Charlie, I don't know if you knew that.
I am the voice of the Green Lantern in the Mortiverse.
Oh my God, we should talk. My wife has been after me for a long time to look into that kind of thing. So I would love to hear your thoughts.
It's great.
Off pod. It's great. Well, yes, I guessed that it was great. That's awesome.
Like, no, worst experience of my life. I'm never doing. No, he loves it.
Stay the hell away. That's
You work with talented people. I love that. It's a great thing. I love the audio drama format because it's your imagination, right? Good voice talent.
Right. Right.
Work with incredible people on a consistent basis to put out stuff that people love. I really love being a part of the Mortalverse. I've been a part of a couple of universes, which is surprisingly Star Wars universe as well, which I've been killed in, which is cool.
They always come back.
You're a member of the multiverse, which, you know what?
Yeah.
Everybody loves a multiverse. So that gets us back to Image had an event basically digging into some of their deep, medieval Spawn. Holy crap, it's been around forever. Yeah. Radiant Black is a big title that I really want to dig into. And to your point, Charlie, yes, Phil Morris is voicing, basically he's doing a take of a audio drama audiobook of Radiant Black, and he's going to be Radiant Yellow. It's kind of like a team of heroes in this new universe that I've heard is really, really, really well done. So maybe, Charlie, that's a future spinner rack we can do.
The different colors. You bet. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Skybound is back for Invincible fans. There's a Cape series by Robert Kirkman, which is going to be remastered. And Charlie, then I'll let you take the last one. More Energon universe.
I do love the Energon universe, and I won't say I'm all the way into it, but I am very into the G.I. Joe series. I've been enjoying that. They just hit issue.
I have both of those.
Yeah, they just hit issue 10. I know Larry Hama because I've interviewed him, but I haven't kept up with his series because I didn't catch what he did after the Marvel run. So it's a little hard to catch all up with it. So I started fresh with the Energon G.I. Joe, and I totally dig it. But Ninja Turtles and Godzilla, that's a perfect fit. That's a crossover they have coming up.
They're cousins, right? Amphibians. Is Godzilla an amphibian? He's a lizard.
They're cousins, identical, like the Pay Duke show. I like it very much. So that's pretty exciting. And, I'm not familiar with this next one. What is Rotatelli Productions? Does that ring a bell?
Well, Charlie, they're kind of similar to Nacelle. So, Delvin, if you're familiar with Nacelle Productions, they have done a lot of stuff. Charlie interviewed the head of it. Basically, he's big into like a lot of documentaries and things, but he also has funded a lot of the pop culture things that we're familiar with, like RoboForce, and he has made some animated series with that. And then it looks like they're coming back, and this company is doing the same thing with SWAT Cats. So I loved SWAT Cats when I was a kid. It was a fun animated series with cats who took on characters, but it looks like they're going into it to develop a new comic book series. But also, Ani Press and Nacelle is both going to be involved, Charlie. So there we go.
Lovely. Very, very good. There's a lot of SDC that we can't necessarily get to. All the merch is just totally crazy. We talked a lot about Star Wars merch on our very first episode of the rebooted Holocron Chronicles, which will actually be out tomorrow if you listen to this. But there was all kinds of Marvel stuff and all kinds of different stuff. But trailers were also abounding. And the main one we want to talk about is for a show that we obviously all love very much, The Peacemaker. So we had a teaser. Now we had a little bit longer trailer. Todd, what's going on in this trailer?
So, Delvin, you finished season 1. Charlie, you finished season 1. I finished season 1.
I watched season 1 of Peacemaker. I want to say 3 times.
We just watched it. We just watched it recently. Yeah, not that long ago.
Yep. So one of the big news is we're getting a new theme song for season 2, which is great.
Okay. Not the dance.
And they actually performed the song at San Diego Comic-Con. James Gunn introduced them, so very cool. I think it's Foxy something or other is the name of the band. So I love
Peacemaker season 1 theme song.
Oh, everybody does. The dance that everybody can do.
Yes.
It's very sexy. But basically at this point we are this season is going to focus on Peacemaker trying to be legit, but then he realizes it's going to be twice as hard because the person he killed in Suicide Squad, his dad wants retribution. So Rick Flag Senior is coming back to take out Peacemaker,
and he's like Nick Fury, where he's ageless. So he could Joel Kinnaman could be his son, apparently, which is very weird because they look like they're the same age. But that's the big focus is that he's being hunted.
I didn't, because have either of you watched Creature Commandos?
I'm finished.
I am
Shame.
3 episodes in, I think.
Oh,
I love
good.
it, though.
I could catch up with Todd real quick.
that was something I was also curious about because I didn't understand. Okay, why is because that's part of this same universe.
Oh yeah, Rick Flag Senior. It's his together. It's like Amanda Waller has basically given him a new team to work with, and they're all of the oddballs. So you've got like. Got Radioactive Man. You've got Weasels in there too. You've got Frankenstein, Mrs. Frankenstein.
Yes.
Bride of Frankenstein.
You've got Frankenstein's monster, which is played by David Harbour. You've got a bunch of different folks. It's really, really good, and they're there to help out like this foreign government, and it goes awry. It's very good. Rick Flag Sr. is kind of the head of that
Because
team.
when I was watching
And-
it originally, I was like,
yeah.
oh, why is Rick Flag still here? Like,
Yeah.
that's Senior.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but of course, harder to tell in the cartoon. Yeah, I should hop
it's
back
really
into
good.
that one.
It's got great music. It feels like a animated Suicide Squad because it's got great music,
Yeah.
like this weird, like Latino, like pop, funk music, which is a great part of the show. So it's all
Weird.
in. There's sex. It's animated and it's fun. But one of the things that we're getting in this is basically when Peacemaker realizes he just can't do anything to win. He decides to use the alternate dimension that his dad used to keep all the weapons and everything from season 1.
Little pocket
He
universe,
goes in that. He goes in that with Vigilante, and then he decides to go to a different dimension to be like the Peacemaker he always wanted to be. And he ends up in a dimension where this Peacemaker is like the man. He is the coolest guy in the world.
Captain America. Yeah.
And then essentially they have to duke it out so that the Peacemaker from that dimension and Chris go at it.
Right.
It looks great. I'm thinking very fun. And
While he's wearing his tighty whities, I think we're going to have this in about a month. I think August 22, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm fired up. This is going to be all kinds of fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
James Gunn does an excellent job with characters that people don't know, or frankly speaking, don't really care about that much. Like,
Right.
Nobody would think that Peacemaker would be a household name. Like that, I remember when people were talking about, hey, why don't John Cena play Captain America? And then, now he's Peacemaker. Like, oh,
because you can't see him, you'd be the Invisible Man.
Yeah, right.
But the one of the surprises in this, Delvin, you love this. Judo Master's back.
Hey, fatty.
He's eating hot Cheetos.
Opens the back of a truck.
Yeah.
And he never changed the outfit. He's this little tiny Asian guy. He's like, hey, fatty.
It's just really cool that James Gunn take these characters that people wouldn't think would be cool.
Right.
It shows you why this character was really cool. He did it with Superman. Did it with Peacemaker. Did it with Suicide Squad. Did it with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He keeps doing it over and over again. Where
he's got the touch. He's got the touch.
Characters that when people think were stars, he'd make them stars, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I
love it.
I think it's really important to find the heart of these characters because obviously DC has so many goofy characters that just is somebody really going to make a character like this? Or Peacemaker still looks pretty goofy considering the way he looks. So they even mock him for like the one girl says, "You look like a clown," and he's like, "I kind of do." Yeah, but I love it. Like Vigilante looks like he's wearing ski gear. I just love the fact that he can find something fun with those characters and make them
moon boots. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
I've had, Todd, as you know, I have that from the '80s, the Who's Who in DC Universe, and I send you if I'm looking at them, I send you a page here and there. Some of the DC characters from back in the day are just nuts. But yeah, absolutely good stuff. Looking forward to this.
Charlie, there was anything you want to talk about Star Trek? Because there was a Star Trek universe panel.
There's a ton. Not super prepared to talk all about that, but we did get a full length trailer for Starfleet Academy, which we're getting next year. We got a teaser for Strange New World season 4, which Todd, this is right up your alley. They're doing a Muppet episode, and so you had a Muppet version of Captain Pike talking, and they were more like Avenue Q Muppets as opposed to like Muppets. They were like a little bit more exaggerated. It's absolutely fantastic, and Strange New Worlds is roaring along, and so we will have more to say about that when Holocron comes out next week. So, when I'm mixing my shows up, when Code 47 comes out next week, we'll have a whole lot to say about it.
And Delvin, you're a Trekker?
I like both. I like Star Wars and Star Trek.
Good man.
That's very good. Very, very good indeed. Well, we might be looking to add you to our stable of talent because we have 2 shows and I run them both. So I'd love to talk to you about that.
I think I really love what Paramount Plus is doing with the Star Trek shows a lot. They're doing a fantastic job,
Yeah.
They're giving us more stories. I even like Picard. I thought Picard was really good.
Totally. Ended it with a bang. I loved it. All right, what else we got going on here, Todd? This is your baby.
Yeah, so it was great. So I was I listened to Entertainment Weekly. They had actually a lot of panels, which were great. Well, like sidebar interviews during Comic-Con, which was great. So they had a lot of people, and it was funny because I was listening to the Family Guy one, and Seth Green was on there, and they mentioned, "Hey, I heard Buffy's coming back. Do you have anything to say?" And he's like, "What? I haven't heard about that." So there may be hope that Seth Green does come back as Oz on the show, because he didn't die in the show. He was a werewolf, and that's kind of fun that he could come back. But they are really digging deep on this cast now. So we are getting, it's funny because one of the guys I looked at, I'm like, oh, wow, that's Frasier's son from the series that just got canceled. So he's got a job, Charlie.
Oh, you're right. The guy all the way on the right. Yeah, Jack Cutmore Scott. That show was, I wanted to love it. It was really dumb. Very, very, like, even formulaic by sitcom standards. But I liked him.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Christmas episode, but yeah, basically we are getting even more characters introduced. 5 new regulars have joined the upcoming pilot. So we basically, we've got the new Slayer, Ryan, Kira Armstrong.
Yes, from Star Wars,
back.
yeah.
Yep, and then we're getting new faces are Faley Rocco Havana from Imprisoned Secret Society of Second Board Royals as Hugo, so that's like a Disney show. Ava Jean, Walk Away, Law and Order SVU as Larkin. Sarah Bach, Severance as Gracie. Daniel De Tomaso, Witches of East End and Major Crimes as Abe. And Jack Cutmore Scott, Oppenheimer and Frasier as Mr. Burke. Sounds like a villain to me,
Mr. Burke.
quite honestly. But yeah, and then it's like... while Geller returns as Buffy, we're unsure who else will be joining at this point. And then the producers in this are Nora Zuckerman, Nora and Lila Zuckerman. Apparently they're married or siblings.
I know.
Writing the show running.
Don't hurt yourself.
And Chloe Zhao is going to be directing and producing under her Book of Shadows banner, and then we've got Gail Berman, Fran Kazooie, and even Dolly Parton, because Dolly Parton actually executive produced the movie, and that allowed her to have executive producer credits on the
She
series.
produced the movie back in 1992. That's insane.
Absolutely, and that was actually a question to Seth. That was a question to Seth Green saying, "Hey, I heard she was a producer. I heard she used to also send gifts. Did you get any?" He goes, "No." There we go.
No Dolly gifts out. Nothing from Dollywood. But yeah, this is
appreciate when we find out information like that. Like, hey, Dolly Parton produced this, or Lucille Ball helped create Star Trek.
God, there would be no Star Trek without Lucille Ball. But we have talked about Buffy a lot over on the Facts Geek Life, which is one of our Patreon segments. Definitely looking to pick that up again and get deeper in the show, because I've certainly not seen the bulk of it, so I'd be interested. So this is going to be on a Hulu original ish, if that's what you can call it,
which will then go to Disney Plus.
Right. Yeah. Oh, okay. But because of that, you can look forward to probably 10 episodes, which is just that's the way things go these days. But that's fun.
Probably it will have a bigger budget than they ever had when they made the series on the WB and CW.
That was one thing that was hard to miss in that first season in particular, is just how cheap it looked. But what are they going to do, right?
Yep. So Delvin, Buffy was on when I was in college. I made Charlie watch a little bit of it, and he didn't like it, and he didn't care. So he moved on. I watched it in college. Did you watch any Buffy?
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't get into it like crazy, but I watched a little bit of it. I watched that. I watched Angel a little bit. There was so much stuff going on around that time. That was what year that was? Do you remember?
Buffy started in 97, 98.
Yeah,
and Angel
ran for 7 years? So that's 02 and 03. Yeah.
I want to say that was the era of me watching, because that might have been around the best era of sitcoms.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a strong burst. Yeah. The post Seinfeld era trying to, and then The Office and Yeah.
And you had Martin, you had
everybody loves Martin.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. My favorite.
Jamie Foxx show. It was just the era of black sitcoms that were just coming out every network had one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
The CW, UPN, they were actually allowing that people to actually produce shows that people actually wanted to see versus only 4 networks. So you actually got that going out there.
Right.
I think Girlfriends was another show.
Right.
Yeah. And then Delvin, of course, Homeboys from Outer Space was a favorite of everybody's.
UPN, part of their inaugural lineup in 95. Absolutely.
Which Scotty was on that show, which is just
I know. Yeah, Jimmy Doohan. Hey, you know what? Why not do it? All right, Todd, this next one, we know of your fondness for Jamie Lee Curtis because of how you dragged her when we were talking about Halloween. What does she got going on now?
No, I love her to pieces. I hate the rest of the stuff in Halloween. No, I love her to pieces. It's the horrible last film where had the one dude filling in as Jason. It just
that movie was.
It was a crazy. I remember you and I talking about what I meant in particular was the fight in the end in the kitchen where you're like, here's a 65-year-old woman throwing around a 300-pound man and stabbing him. I was like, yeah, she's pretty tough though. She's pretty tough.
I love that 20. Was it 28, Delvin? That was 2018 was the one that was really good.
Yeah, the first one of the trilogy. Yeah, those other two are garbage.
That that Michael Myers went from murdering a whole town in the second one.
Oh my God.
To barely be able to handle one person in the third one.
Yeah,
one dude.
He can't. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was the power set. But she is now going to be. Do you remember when I confused Agatha Christie with Murder, She Wrote? And I'm like,
yes, I did, Charlie. Yes. She Wrote? I remember you're like, famous British writer with a fake CBS show with Angela Lansbury. Perfect, Charlie. Would you ever do that? Would you ever do that? Confuse the two?
It was the Christie part of it. You know, it was the show that Mad Magazine called Murder, She Hopes. But they're bringing it back with Jamie Lee, which is why we're talking about her. And it confirmed it as a film reboot. So they're going to the silver screen with this, huh? They're leaving TV behind. That's kind of crazy.
I appreciate that people keep complaining about things getting rebooted, but they keep rebooting all the things from our childhood. And
they just feel like
over again.
They just feel like we're going to love them. I mean, that show, oh my God, that show was on from the original program from 1984 to 1996. That's a longer run than
Angela Lansbury was already 102 when that show debuted.
Absolutely, she was.
All the shows from my childhood back again, so it could be all the shows of my kids' childhood.
Well,
Knight Rider.
Well, you know what kicked this off is the Matlock show with Kathy Bates, right?
Yeah,
so that came back and has been huge.
And I love this picture because it's a picture of her, and to her left are like 1,000 knives in a circle. I mean, I already want to know what's going on. Is she in some?
Well, that's Knives Out, Charlie. That was from Knives Out.
Oh, I thought it was a picture from the show. Yeah, so you're right. The knives are out, and the picture of the chest next to it with the skull, and yeah. So I'm into this. So this is gonna be. It seems weird as a movie though, but is this gonna? Are they gonna like work this into Knives Out? Is this gonna be the next Knives Out movie? I don't know.
Well. The script is written by Lauren Shucker Blum and Rebecca Angelo, with producers Lord Miller and Amy. This is going to be a Sony
Amy Pascal
joint.
from Sony. Oh, okay. Wow.
Well, Lord and Miller, if they're producing this, so this could be a lot of fun. This could be like a parody type of like Barbie-esque, maybe Lego movie type of like nostalgia plus like. Anybody wonder why the old lady everywhere she goes, people die?
Yeah.
Murder, She Hopes. I told you that's how they're going to adapt it. Yeah,
they're going to put all the old ladies from the different multiverses.
Right. Oh my God!
It's funny. So Delvin, when you talked about people murdering each other. So
yes.
my favorite question is like when it comes to like murder shows. Do you have a favorite? Like, is it like Columbo, SVU, Castle?
One more
thing. Those shows.
Just random murder shows, or just like.
You know, like one of like the quirky murder the guy who solves the murders, detective shows. You know,
yeah.
Because if
more thing.
Murder shows, it'll probably be Dexter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're loving Dexter around here. I'm coming around on the new show. I should talk a little bit about it in the Geek Easy. The latest episode was actually kind of pretty cool.
Okay, I need to watch the new show. I haven't watched it yet. I've watched everything up to the two new shows I have not watched yet.
Yeah, the prequel and this is now a sequel, so to speak.
Yeah.
The sequel to the sequel.
I've not watched one episode of Dexter, but I know way too much about it.
Yeah.
I know there's a boat and a hurricane and people died, and there was a prequel, and there's a sequel where he was dead, but he's not dead, and now he's got to be part of a menagerie of serial killers.
That's what's going on in the new episode. Yeah. Dinklage is running. He's running the Avengers for serial killers. It's kind of
I'm all in on that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. No, tune in.
I got to answer to your question. My favorite detective show is Luther.
Oh, Luther's a show I need to watch. Idris Elba on the BBC. I know that one's supposed to be good.
Nice. Nice. We watched it, and I watched too much stuff this week, but we watched I love John Cena. We'll watch anything in it, but he was just in a movie with Idris Elba. Yes, heads of state,
the presidents and the UK prime minister. That sounds horrible.
It was fun. It was fun because John Cena is fun. John Cena is fun. He made it fun. He made it fun.
It sounded like a movie that would come out in the 90s that we would watch. Like, oh, this was pretty fun.
And the guy was, instead of John Cena, it would be Steven Seagal.
Yeah, like Steven Seagal and like Eddie Murphy.
Well, I mean, those guys are both in the the Fast and Furious franchise. When you had like Hobbs and Shaw, Idris Elba was like the villain in that, and then you had John Cena, who is what's his name's brother, Dom's brother. Come on,
couldn't look any less alike. Anyway, let's move on. So one of the absolutely amazing characters in James Gunn's Superman, which we seen just a couple weeks ago, was, I'm going to say, Skylar something or other is the name of the actor who played Jimmy Olsen. Totally awesome. He was from the Righteous Gemstones, which, Todd, you need to watch that show. It's a lot of fun.
Some of it. I just need to watch more of it. I like it. He's one of the sons of Danny McBride's character, who's not a douchebag. He has two sons. The other one's totally terrible. But it's looking like Jimmy is going to get a spinoff, which is great because Jimmy Olsen was one of the very early comic book characters who got a spinoff book, Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Superman's pal. Yeah.
Superman's pal. Exactly. So now he is going to be off and doing this thing, probably romancing chicks because that's what he does. But yeah, probably, he's a photographer. They didn't really touch much on him being Jimmy Olsen photographer in the movie, unless I was missing that. He was just another person at the Daily Planet doing reporting and stuff. Am I totally
misremembering? He was more of a reporter than a photographer in the movie.
Right. Right. But, give us a chance to maybe take that out. But I like the actor. Apparently the Wall Street Journal and Talking to Gunn reports that there are two Superman spinoffs being considered, one focusing on Mr. Terrific, which is Eddie Guetheri's character. Totally awesome. And it's Skylar Gisondo is Jimmy Olsen. That's the name of the actor. But I think that would be fun, kind of a slice of life in Metropolis, Delaware. I do love that they finally put it somewhere. And I visited Delaware because my brother lived there for a while. What a great place. I don't know if we have listeners in Delaware, but if
apparently
we do, we're going to get letters. I guess.
How many buildings does Delaware have? I don't think many.
They're all in Metropolis, and most of them got knocked down or broken in half. But anyway, a Mr. Terrific show would be pretty fantastic as well. So they're riding so high on the success of this film. I would have no doubt both could be very successful.
Did either of you hear the James Gunn interview where he talked about the other script that he wrote that may not come out?
No.
Apparently, he has a fully written script for a crypto movie.
What? How does that work?
That's like doing a Chewbacca movie,
Because originally, from what I heard from the interview, he was talking about how originally the Superman movie was going to be from Crypto's perspective.
Oh, wow. That sounds weird.
That sounds a little bit more like it should be a comic as opposed to a movie, or an episode of a show. They could put that into the Jimmy Olsen show and it'd make a lot more sense.
Yeah, so he says he still has that on the table.
You know what? Like I said, if this movie is going to continue to be successful, Todd, you shared a link with us that movie has crossed the $500 million threshold globally. So they're on their way to having, $1 billion success. I think, he's going to write his own ticket. So I'm into it. Gorilla Grodd gets a name drop in this too, because again, this comes from a post over on X.
His most important appearance was on Flash. Gorilla Grodd, Gorilla City was a big part of that show.
Right.
And I remember him being on the you talked about Legion of Doom, Charlie. Gorilla Grodd was a character there with Toyman. And I love the fact that either of these could work. Mr. Terrific could be interesting because obviously he's such a big part of that universe with the Justice Gang. I don't know how that works. You want to save him probably for the big stuff, but I don't know. Maybe that could work where he's given more of his background or something like that, and maybe filling out his villains area. But I think the Jimmy, the Jimmy show is kind of neat because it kind of allows him to be a reporter tracking down villains and basically building out a rogues gallery by tracking down their crimes and filling out their this is how bad these dudes are. They've left bodies. They've done these things. And I kind of like that. It's kind of a neat side project.
Yeah.
It would also explain why these villains have names.
Right.
Yes.
If Jimmy Olsen's like, hey, doing the script, he just gives them names.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Which is that's like Peacemaker giving people names. You know what I mean?
Well, or Vibe, or what's his name? Vibe from Flash. What's his name?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember what his name was. He was from Detroit, which I love because that's my hometown.
Well, no, that's the character. It was
Cisco Ramon.
Cisco Ramon.
Yeah, Cisco. Yeah, he would give everybody nicknames, which I love.
Right.
He was like, I gotta give you a nickname. So I like that Jimmy would do that, and yeah, and it would fill out kind of a rogues gallery to build people into it. Kind of like how well the Penguin has done a good job of building out Batman's like crime network. This is a different way of doing it with like more superheroes and supervillains. So kind of cool, man. I like where this is going. I feel like we're such better space with Marvel and DC right now than we've been in a long time. So I'm doing pretty good.
And it just took the two. It took two pillars, two big steps, two first steps, if you will.
Fresh breaths of air.
Fresh breaths of air. I love it. All right. Well, that takes us out of the news. Todd is in a video store for some reason. Delvin's at home. I'm at home. We've all got to get
comic shop, not a video store.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Well, those figures in the background look like huge videotapes, and I thought that was candy on the shelf there.
Those are omnibuses.
Todd's in
Delvin wants to buy
some comic store. Delvin's at home. I'm at home. We've all got to grab an Uber, get down to the Geek Easy because we got to talk about stuff that we're watching and reading this week. Mine pulls up. I'm jumping in the back seat. This very familiar advertisement is playing on his AM radio.
Hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencastr. We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution. Provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencastr because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencastr has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencastr? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. So if you're interested in making an easy, high-quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to Zencastr.com/pricing and use my code SFU1. You'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show.
Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
We're sitting in the Geek Easy. Cover bands playing, drinks are poured, and I'm sitting in a comic book shop. Sorry, Charlie, not a video store.
So you're not here with us? You're on a little screen, and Delvin and I are sitting here drinking?
Well, it's an open bar at the comic book shop. But joined by Delvin. So anything you're excited about, what you've been watching or reading? I know because you do a lot of video game stuff, but anything like that's keeping you, on the page or on the screen?
I'm reading Robert Kirkman's Void Rivals right now.
Ooh, good show.
A lot,
Did you know about that being like the intro to the Energon universe when you picked it up?
Yes, because I found out because the issue I started with, because my favorite Autobot is I have two favorite Autobots, Optimus Prime, of course.
Yep.
And Rodimus Prime, aka Hot Rod. So I saw the cover that had Hot Rod on the cover, like, oh, is this a new Transformers comic? And they're bringing back Hot Rod? I'm like, oh, no, okay. I was like, oh, I need to start reading these then. And I got into it, and the series is fantastic. I'm really happy what they're doing with the Transformers, bringing in this universe and the Inner John universe. Super cool to say the least.
I love it. Yeah, I know I read the first issue myself, but I've not circled back, and they haven't necessarily in the G.I. Joe title. Because they did G.I. Joe, they started it with 4 different miniseries, and then it became a monthly series, and they gave you little peeks at the Transformer here and a Transformer there. You know, one was enslaved, and another one was we find out that Starscream is the one who killed a comrade of Duke's, and Duke is on a rampage to destroy Starscream. So that part of it's all coming together. But I am curious how the whole Void Rivals thing is going to factor in. I'm kind of curious how that's going to shake out.
Well, that's the space part, right, Charlie? That's the
must be.
That's
yeah,
where you've got two alien species who are kind of fighting each other, not getting along, and they end up like 2 members of that race end up on a planet, and then all of a sudden they run into Jetfire. That was like the big thing. Gotcha. Like, oh, it's Jetfire, and he like flies away.
Hey, I'm here.
I'm here. Woohoo! Cool. Good deal.
I have a movie I watched that was really interesting.
Oh, please.
Ooh.
And this is one of those kind of movies that you just find like, this is an interesting concept. It's a low-budget movie. It's called The Death of Snow White.
The Death of Snow White. Where'd you watch that at?
I watched it on you have to buy it. I watched it on
the VOD.
Voodoo, or I think it's called.
Cool.
It's called, what is it called now?
Fandango at home. Yep.
Yes. And it is essentially a horror version retelling the story of Snow White.
Oh my!
And it's bloody. It's an independent movie.
Yeah.
It's bloody. It's violent, and I kind of really, for what it's worth, I kind of dug what they did with Snow White.
Wow.
They kind of made everything a lot more sinister and they made sense of things that it felt more close to Grimm's fairy tales than.
Oh, okay. So a little bit more grim and gritty, and not fairy tale Disney.
So that, like, along the lines of like these other remakes you're seeing, like Screamboat Willie and Bambi, and the Popeye one that's coming out. Those look wild. Or the the Winnie the Pooh one. They've got 2 of them now, or the second one's coming out. Yeah.
It's along those lines, not made by the same people, of course, but it feels like the people who made this wanted to tell the story and wanted to have fun with it, and they put a lot of heart into it. And I think that's what I really appreciate about it, because the story is well told. I think, it's under budget, of course, because, it's a lower budget movie, but the story is well told, and the concept of it is really, really good, honestly. The whole concept of, Snow White is this child who, people who know the story of Snow White, she's essentially, she's the quote unquote queen of this town or stuff like that, who has the evil stepmother who wants to get rid of her, and they tell the story why she wants to get rid of her, and the whole idea of it is everything that's around it has a horror feel to it. And they make things feel real, and like it gets really tense. Like people die, they get murdered.
Wow!
Dang. The queen is an evil witch who's basically trying to trying to capture Snow White's heart, literally.
Like
to get youth or something or weird or
the juice.
And the whole thing is, you see how the evil queen is, because the whole thing is about her trying to be the fairest of them all, and so she's kidnapping younger women and taking body parts to keep her youth.
Damn.
Nice. So I got 2 questions about this movie.
Okay.
Any CGI dwarfs? Because that was obviously going to go well for the Disney one.
They have actual dwarfs.
Oh, really?
And they're awesome.
Are we calling them dwarves these days? Little people, I think is.
That's what they refer to them in the movie, Charlie.
Do they really?
I don't know what in real life. Yes.
Oh, okay.
They're not politically correct in the Grimm's fairy tales, unfortunately.
Oh, I just didn't know if they flipped the script in the Disney one.
In this movie, are taken very seriously. They are badass.
Wow.
They protect Snow White. They're like the defenders of like the old king, and they were the protectors of the old king, and they work for the old king, so they are like loyal to him. And when they
these are like more like Tolkien dwarfs, like they actually can be badass.
Pretty much so, yeah.
Like hobbits. Like hobbits. Little
no, hobbits are not badass, Charlie. Sorry.
No,
these guys
they eat a lot and got big feet. Yeah, the dwarves though kick ass.
Cutting people in half.
lift things that are heavy and break skulls. So other question, Delvin, any sexy time in this? Because sometimes they get these things go a little bit wrong.
A lot of sexy time in it. Not
okay.
in terms of like sexual scenes and stuff like that. But the Queen's Mirror is just like these they're basically like succubus who are like talking to the queen through the mirror. They're nude and they're saying you're not the fairest because of this. They're not like, they have their lady parts covered up and they're telling you they like demons and they're like they're cursed. They're accosting the queen and why she's still not the fairest and why Snow White is the fairest and stuff like that.
Oh my!
And it's done very well.
Goodness.
Okay.
Gosh. Wow.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we're in a weird space because the old days VOD was just like, hey, Blockbuster, my big movie's out, so I'm going to check out this movie I never heard before.
Yeah,
now, VOD's harder because you got to be good to be found because there's so much out there. How did you find this film?
Yeah, that's my next question.
How did you find this one?
Right.
I was literally on Vudu looking at movies.
And it appeared.
And the name caught my eye. The Death of Snow White. Oh, that's a interesting name. It has like a pretty cool cover to it. Okay. And then I, of course, Wikipedia'd it. And the Wikipedia, I read the synopsis like, this sounds badass. The synopsis on the Wikipedia was incorrect. But it was close enough.
Yeah.
It was close enough.
It's just written by some guy, so it could stand to be incorrect.
The synopsis,
Snow White, no cocaine. There was no, a
little bit of sniff.
I think the thing that kind of dropped me in was they were in the Wikipedia synopsis. They were describing the final battle as the queen having this ultimate power and just murdering a whole bunch of the dwarves brutally, like Mortal Kombat style. And then they finally, the dwarves and Snow White finally ends up getting the best of her.
Oh my goodness!
There's a scene like that, but it's nowhere on that scale.
Okay. Well, we're going to put a trailer. I'm going to find a link to this trailer so people can buy, rent, and return to see if it's worth it. So,
yeah, it's a fun movie.
It's got the Delvin Cox seal of approval, folks. You've heard it here.
I enjoy watching this fun.
Fascinating. All right, Todd, what's your big topic? What's your mystery topic? Tell us.
So I don't know if I really hit on this much, but I'm obviously got a comic book project going on. So I have converted all of my short and long boxes into a drawer system. So I found the perfect drawer system. I can go 4 wide, 3 doors deep. It's got everything I need to do, and I need to put some clear bookends to push them in, so they're kind of like not leaning. Because as you know, with comic books, they start bending.
I seen them. Even just people will take like those priority mailboxes, like as a stopgap, like the rectangular ones. Yeah. But yeah, it's not long term solution.
I'm just going to get those. I found I can get like 24 of them from Amazon for like $25. So basically it'll just push the book so it'll be upright. So I'm gonna do that. It's really cool. And then they found somebody that actually does magnets, because it's obviously
I've seen those at shows.
Do is like a full comic book cover, and you just cut it out a little bit. So it looks really cool. So it's in a closet as it is, but it's really worked out for, at least from a storage perspective. Yeah. Now the issue I've got is this is coming from a lens of I've got some unique sized collectibles that I have rediscovered that were in my collection. So one of them is the series that Frank Miller did called Big Guy and the Boy Robot. But it's like this, like it's bigger than a magazine. So I'm like, it's beautiful. And I'm like, I don't know how to store it because it's not like fitting any
on a bookshelf or whatever.
Yeah. Yes. And then the other one I've got is the other history of the DC Universe, which I love to pieces.
Oh, that's new. That's new, right?
Characters of color of the DC Universe, Black Lightning, Katana, and things like that. It's a great prestige format. John Ridley wrote it. I'm like, how am I going to sort it? So that's one of my missions. And the other thing is I had a friend for my birthday that bought me this, Charlie. One of these Marvel.
Oh, I do. I seen one of those on the shelf at one of my local shops. I didn't pick it up, but I have several issues. Marvel had an ongoing series that I think ran for several years, and I've got a few because I collect out of print stuff. Delvin, that's what I collect. I have probably 7 short boxes in my closet. I just collect out of print stuff.
Okay.
So if I know I can't find it on Marvel Unlimited or if I can't find it on Comixology, if I find a copy, I'll buy it. And even like series where like Web of Spider-Man, which is Spider-Man title from the 80s, I know about half of it is on Marvel Unlimited. The other half is not. So anytime I see an issue in a shop, I buy it. So I have it on file. Should I ever be reading along and I'm like, ooh, I got to grab a floppy of it. That's my strategy. Yeah.
So I'm looking for a better way to store these things because they don't fit very well anywhere in boxes. It's an odd shape, so I'm looking for something to store those.
We need long boxes made just for those type of books.
Yeah,
I know it's very weird because it's like these are like some very weird collectibles. DC's does a lot of them. Marvel did a lot of them from back. It was like I think
back in the day.
Superior collection. I have some Spider-Man ones. They're just different, and it's just hard to keep them in good shape. But the other thing I would recommend is a lot of people sometimes wonder, and Delvin, I don't know if you have a system, but I have an app called CLZ, which I've used for years. It's a great way to catalog your comics digitally by just scanning barcodes and covers. And then it becomes a digital version of a comic book collection where you can add in like what you've got, what you're looking for. It has the cover and different variants of the cover. Because sometimes, as you know, comic books had a barcode or had a cover because it's newsstand or it's the direct market. So for me, it's a great way to stay afloat of what I've got, what I'm looking for, and also catalogs trade paperbacks. So if you're looking like, do I have all the issues? It incorporates trade paperbacks as well, which is awesome. So I love this app, and it allows you to export it in different ways. So rather than a Google Doc, which is okay, but you don't get the covers, you don't get those things, and it's very cheap. It's like $20 for a year. So it's very easy to do format and export and import. So for me, it's well worth the price because it just gives me so much more than just a Google Doc. It does the work for you. You can incorporate pricing, cost. If it's a signed edition, it does all that stuff automatically, and I think it's great. So if you're looking for something, automatically, it's great. And it's like there used to be like a separate app, or you could get a barcode scanner, but your phone works as a barcode scanner now, so it's great. So
unless I wouldn't really mess with that because I find myself in a lot of shops where there's no Wi-Fi, so I couldn't look at it anyway. So I do have that way.
Wi-Fi is not as important as your 5G. So you have a cell phone signal, and it works.
Nope. Not,
but even with
you're not telling me something that I'm telling you is the case. There's a shop that I go to that it's a lead box, and if I want to look at my list, I better bring a printout list. So,
but you can also make it a hardcore thing.
Yeah.
Actually, you can export it to a doc you look on your phone too. It's just cover, all those things. So for me, a Google Doc is lacking in so many ways. It just doesn't remind you of the cover, the art, who does it. It gives you everything. Who did the art when it was produced, the issues and all those things. It's a step above, and it's $20 a year. It's far better than a Google Doc.
You know what my system is? I look at my books.
Yep.
I think I got that book. I just go look at my books. I'm like,
it's all in your head.
Well, when you've got over 3,000 books, then it's like, or if you're looking for what it is, it's a great way to also understand like who did it and the values and like, hey, and the cool play, it also does values. Like, should I pay $3 for it or $4? So it's a great idea too. So like I said, Charlie, the rare occasion you don't have Wi-Fi, which I assume is very rare these days for your one local comic book in Grand Rapids, but it probably works at Wizard World when you go.
You would think not in a tin box. Doesn't work at Wizard World.
$20 a year, which is essentially less than one Marvel figure you got.
That sounds like $20 wasted. But anyway, let's move along. Real quick, I was telling Todd when I was watching this, I made the mistake of tuning into it later to the 2000s version of the Fantastic Four cartoon, which I turned off immediately, and I jumped backwards to the 1994 one. Of course, these are on Disney Plus, and it's real bad. I think some of the other cartoons were worse, but in the first, I probably watched 5 or 6 of them. In the first 5 or 6 episodes, they're like it's like Journey's greatest hits. They're trying to pack in all those first stories. Here's where they meet Namor, and in episode 5 and 6, well, now Galactus is coming along. So very much, because I looked it up and it said, it debuted on this date. So it was a Saturday morning cartoon, if I'm not mistaken. So it was absolutely for that crowd. Animation was lousy. I didn't really care for
Fox Kids show.
Fox Kids show, and it was I
think it was UPN actually, not even Fox Kids.
Oh boy,
Silver Surfer was Fox Kids, X-Men, and Spider-Man. And then it was Incredible Hulk, Fantastic Four, and Iron Man were all on UPN because nobody cared about those characters. So
Right.
there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was whatever.
He had an awesome mullet and a bad mustache. It was great.
I'm like, who had that? Who had it?
Silver Surfer
Tony
cartoons.
Stark.
Oh, I thought you said the Silver Surfer had an awesome
No,
mullet.
the Silver Surfer was great. And it was on Fox Kids, so you actually had the people that were doing Spider-Man and that. But the other stuff.
I will
was bad.
say that I watched the Silver Surfer one recently. That show is not for kids.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Not because it's bad. It's because it's it's really like deep. Like it's
Wow.
thought provoking
Yeah.
every episode. Like he's
It's
like
deep
sitting there
Marvel mythology.
It's too
he's
much. Yeah.
Like every episode he gives like this long monologue of what's going on with the world and universe. Like
He's like
10-year-old know what the hell he's talking about.
It's like it sounds like Captain Planet. That's crazy.
It's weird. I'm like,
Yeah.
Nordrad's a deep dude.
Yeah, and that's where I think because I was watching one of these deep dive videos after the movie came out, that's where we got to see Shia LaBeouf, who is our Silver Surfer in the movie that we're going to be talking about, also was introduced to the public anyway. Within that series we're talking about. So anyway, that's a skip for me. Didn't really enjoy it. And I'm of two minds about this next thing. So we've known for a long time that there was going to be a direct to Netflix Happy Gilmore sequel. Netflix owns the soul of Adam Sandler. Apparently, they purchased him at some point for a pack of cigarettes or something. He owns them. He owns Netflix. Oh, I suppose. Okay, there's some kind of ownership going on. So this movie was, Todd, I know how you remember how I saw that movie a couple of years ago. Don't Worry, Darling. You said, wasn't that basically gaslighting the movie? This was gratuitous cameo the movie. Anyone that you've ever seen in an entertainment production was in this movie for 5 seconds or less. Every SNL cast member, past and present, they found a way to stick Rob Schneider in this thing.
Charlie, have you not seen an Adam Sandler production?
No,
that's all he does.
I do not.
Schneider. It's Chris Rock. It's all those guys.
Yeah, they were all
welcome back.
They were
Adam
all there.
Sandler's the reason why Rob Schneider still has jobs.
Why he's alive,
Exactly.
I'm sure. He's probably kept him out of a firing squad.
Homeless.
He might be homeless.
Picking up cans on the side of Biscayne Boulevard.
This movie took every thread, every plot point, every write-off character from the first film, and everybody got their moment in the sun. It was too long. It was over 2 hours, which I think is completely absurd.
Wow.
They took you on a very Ron Burgundy kind of journey. He's up, he's down, he's up again, he's down again. But he's still happy and he's still an idiot. And that much you can appreciate. It would be like if they made, Billy Madison too, which was kind of the same movie in a lot of ways. Yeah. Is it really? Are you serious?
I assume.
I'm quite sure it is. Famous AEW wrestler MJF is in this movie.
Famous wrestler.
Charlie knows nothing about wrestling, so Delvin, you might as well be saying like Abe Lincoln is in this film.
Abe Lincoln was in this movie?
Son.
Okay. He had 5 sons. One of them was Carl from Shameless. That was someone I recognized.
Big guy who looks like a wrestler.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Dark hair, probably. Yeah. All right. Fine. There we go. And he cast all 3, like all of his children. So his daughter was his daughter, and this other girl was his older daughter, whatever it is. So I would say, to answer our friend John's question, hey, is Julie Bowen in it? I'm like, spoiler, she dies right away. That's what drives the film. He kills her with a golf ball.
She was in it, and then she's like, yes, you're dead.
Good job.
Yeah.
You're old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, but they tell it from basically the end of the first movie to present day, and you watch his complete fall, and he has to win it back.
Of course, she would die before Happy Gilmore because,
right.
He's so refined and
precisely. Shooter McGavin is in an insane asylum, but it's important that he gets out. It comes down to regular golf versus like Mega X golf, or like they're trying to do the X Games for golf and stuff. XFL golf, yeah, the big competition. It's really dumb. It's too long. But if you love Happy Gilmore, I never necessarily loved or hated it, but I don't know that I could really wrestle up a chortle.
Bob Barker in this? Is there like is what's his name, Drew Carey, in this supporting
that would have been great, but there was a ridiculous cemetery scene where Shooter McGavin and Happy are boxing, or they're fighting each other, and the tombstones of all of his family are there, and Bob Barker. And then he says, the price is wrong, bitch, standing over his tombstone. It's just there's a lot of lows. There's a lot of lows.
There's the son of what's his name, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, the character was Lavelle Crawford, who's a stand-up comic, but yes, and they work it to death with his hand. He's certainly a Carl Weathers character, yes. So if you love Happy Gilmore, see it. You'll probably enjoy it. It might have been more entertaining if it was not 2 hours and 12 minutes. Seriously.
Or you're on the marijuana, or you're highly drunk.
The marijuana. I was neither the time I was watching it.
I know Delvin's looking at this and saying, I highly enjoyed this. It's a classic 10 out of 10. It is in the Criterion Collection.
It was up there with Citizen Kane. It was incredible. And then finally, I learned about this title.
Delvin had something to say, Charlie.
Oh, Delvin,
you didn't give me
I have a hot take. A lot of those 90s comedy movies do not hold up well.
Oh, no.
That's a very hot take. It's sizzling. I can feel it burning through the computer. Yes, I think probably none of them, and particularly of the Saturday Night Live.
Are you saying Dude, Where's My Car is not an Emmy or an Oscar contender?
That movie didn't hold up when it came out.
I still have never seen it, but a trailer.
Garner debut. That was I think the highlight of that movie.
That was her first movie?
It was.
I'm learning all kinds of things.
I think someone gave me free tickets to see that movie, if I'm correct.
Oh my God. Yes, there's never Todd, you had a free ticket opportunity this weekend.
Well, I could have talked about that movie, but I made the wide decision not to see Pete Davidson's newest horror film called The Home that I got free tickets from Fandango because apparently it's so bad. It's got like 20% that I could have seen, but I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth my time. So I said, no, don't see that.
You'd be better just going there and buying popcorn and coming home.
Watch something else. Talk about the free movie I got to see.
Oh, what was that?
Jurassic Park Rebirth.
Oh,
what? That's like a real movie, though.
Yes,
it's a real piece of shit.
It's a top 5 movie right now, and you're absolutely right.
Dino Dung is that what we call it?
Yes, I did not like it.
Yeah, I didn't care for it either. All right, let me wrap this up. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking with Heather Antos, who is at IDW, which currently has the Star Trek license. She did mention of several projects coming out. There was one called Red Shirts, and it's the setting of its Star Trek, the original series, and it is a top secret mission of all these security people that have to go on basically a suicide mission it's like the Lego movie. They got to put a thing on the other thing and stop the bad guys from doing this thing and that thing. And it was a lot of fun. It was serious, but it was obviously the through line punchline. It wasn't like Lower Deck, so it wasn't like they were going for all the extreme laughs. It was pretty serious, and it's setting up. I'm feeling like this is a mini series, but they're setting up an arc where they're going to be taking on one of the big bad races of Star Trek. But I like it. All new characters set on a different ship, so we didn't be like, and here's Spock coming in, which is great. We all suffer from kind of prequelitis where, we got to find a way to make it familiar. So that's what I was griping about with Strange New Worlds, that they're like, and here's this other, like the Gorn in Strange New Worlds. So they're the thing, but we also made them totally different. So all new characters, but they looked like TOS, not like Strange New Worlds, which was kind of cool because that aesthetic's kind of fallen by the wayside these days. And I dug it. And that's available in your local comic shop or digitally as well. So I'd recommend it. I think it was fun if you're a Trekker. So Delvin, you're a Trek guy. Have you ever done Trek comics at all?
Ooh, a long time ago when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I used to read those things when they looked like the characters from the TV show.
Right. Yeah. The DC Trek line, the second volume of it was one of my absolute favorites. It was the only DC comic I read back in the 90s. So I absolutely loved that series. But yeah, it's cool. IDW's had the license of Star Trek for about 25 years, and they've done a lot of great stuff. So I've been impressed. All right. Well, that takes us out of the Geek Easy. The time is here to get out the Air Qantas app. Got to get us down to the land down under. Hologram Tina and the mutants are waiting for us. We're going to take our first steps onto this airplane to the Thunderdome to talk about the fantastic. Let's do it.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome.
Thank you, Tina. The mutants have been gathered for a topic or a game to be entertained. And this week, we are giving our review of Fantastic Four First Step. So just a little bit of ground rules. We'll be doing our spoiler-free review. So basically give us our impressions and our overall review of the movie. And then after that point, you're free to go. And if you have watched the movie and want spoilers, we'll be doing that.
I appreciate that. Todd almost said we will be giving spoilers first.
Yes.
If you really want to be that guy.
Listen to it in reverse. We used to do that. We used to call it a spoiler cast and just go nuts. But then, you don't want somebody to bitch and be like, but I didn't see the movie yet. Well, then why are you listening to a show about the movie?
Some people may be on the fence. They want to hear it. It's worth their money.
That's fair.
Next week that way. So but I think at this point, it's because Fantastic Four, and I think we'll get into this really quickly. So Fantastic Four First Steps, really quickly. This movie, forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, the Fantastic Four must defend Earth from the ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic Harold Silver Surfer. Directed by Matt Shankman, writers Josh Freeman, Eric Pearson, and Jeff Kaplan. A running time of 1 hour and 55 minutes with a budget of $200 million.
That seems like a fair amount of time to do a movie and a fair amount of money to spend, to be honest with you. Because it's not 3 hours and $500 million and it makes 12, wasn't that the Marvels?
Exactly. We'll see how this goes. And then our cast is Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby playing Sue Storm, Eben Moss Backrack, which is just a crazy name, Ben Grimm. As you know, Eben Moss, he is the cousin from the Bear. Joseph Quinn, you remember him from Stranger Things. He was great in that, playing Johnny Storm. Ralph Ineson, he was from Game of Thrones. He was also Sid in Final Fantasy 16, playing Galactus. Julia Garner playing Shawn Hall, which is the Silver Surfer. Yeah, and Tasha Leone playing a character I'm not sure of, Rachel Rosman, which at first it was going to be like the blind girl that the puppet master was.
And I can inform on that when we get a little further down the road. I got educated on the character.
Yep. So, and then I don't want to give any other spoilers away because I think there's other characters in here that I think would be spoilerific. So we'll get in there. But I do think it's funny. Matthew Wood playing Herbie. Yeah. And Herbie had no lines of dialogue, so he's just doing like the beep and the boop and the block.
Well, that's like who's the other guy? D. Bradley Baker, who was all the clones in the Star Wars, but he was also Murph on Star Trek Prodigy, which is and he just went but he was the dude that did the voice.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, being I Am Groot. Well, those are actually words.
Vin Diesel was not in this though, so sorry about that. If you're looking for Vin Diesel, I will say there's a fun casting moment here. Let's call it Alex Hyde White as ABC newscaster William blah blah blah. But he was the original Reed Richards in the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
And Todd, I'm sure, and the people that surround him are the rest of the team. Jay Underwood, who I've met because he was in a Star Trek episode. So he appeared at Star Trek Las Vegas one year with Johnny Storm. Michael Bailey Smith was Ben Grimm in that film, who plays a power plant worker. And Rebecca Stabb was a news reporter. She was Sue Storm. Okay. Yeah. So very fun.
Yeah. So really quickly with that, Delvin, have you seen the Roger Corman Fantastic Four?
From 94. Yeah.
I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember that movie because it was like stuff of lore. Like you would go to like comic conventions.
Get it under the table.
You go to that one table that has all the DVDs.
The one guy with the discs that's still at C2E2 in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
We got that Fantastic Four movie that didn't come out. You want to watch it?
Yeah,
I do want to watch that.
I saw it in Korea. I think I ended up getting a bootleg mailed to me when I was in Korea. And I watched it there.
You turned around and either sent that to me or made me a copy because there's one floating around here somewhere.
It's like the Justice League Unlimited pilot that was horrible. There's so many of these things that are great. So there we go. But I want to give you a little context where Fantastic Four sits. With their cinematography. As of right now, the Fantastic Four 2025, 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. Great score.
People love it.
Rise of the Silver Surfer, 37%. That's a movie from 2007, I believe.
Right. Yep.
Fantastic Four 2005, that's the first Fox film, 27%. And then Fantastic Four 2015,
You don't even have the score for the for the 2015 movie, the fan four stick. What was that one?
What do you mean? There's Fantastic Four 2015. It's 9%.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you didn't put it in there properly with the 4. You lost me. Wow, that's 9%. I thought that was the Corman one. I'm like, why did people rate that so poorly? Yeah, that was the movie that I saw.
That movie has no rating, Charlie. The Charlie Corman has no.
It never released. So
the fan four stick one. We were making the pie. We'd been making the show for about a year, and I got free tickets to that for some reason. And Todd said, there's no effing way that I want to see this movie. And I said, I will go and I will talk about it. And I did. And I've never seen it again. And I never, ever will. It was, wow. It was especially, it's worse than Catwoman. Because I've seen Catwoman fairly recently. It was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, so I've not seen that film, but I've seen the others, and yes, those other films are harmless, but kind of just
harmless.
It could have been worse.
I would rate the 05 movie higher than the 07 movie myself personally, but
oh really?
Yeah, I thought it was more enjoyable than the Silver Surfer one.
Lawrence Fishburne raises the bar over that. So for me, Charlie, I think
it also had Galactus as a big scary cloud. So it raises it right back down.
I can deal with that. He didn't have a talking part. But Delvin, have you seen the rest of the Fantastic Four films that were officially released?
I've seen all those movies, and all of them to me are equally terrible.
Okay, there we go. So it's a baseline that we've laid. So there we go. So that brings us into this film. So I will say that I saw this film in a unique format that I don't know if it's broad or not. It's called Screen X. Have you guys heard of Screen X?
No.
I've seen Screen X before.
Yeah, no, tell me. You got me.
I ended up paying for Screen X rather than the baseline. So, Charlie, this is where if you think about your screen being like one main view, this is a new technology that actually projects the rest of the film on the sides of the theater.
Oh, so my gosh.
It's very weird. And it is very...
I don't know that I would love that.
But I think it would be cool because the way it was shown, it made many experiences seem more like broad. Like
if the torch flies if he's to the left, he's stage left, and then he would go all the way through.
Correct.
And yes, points of motion are even like more impactful. So, but it does. I don't know if the execution I had was bad, but it was weird because at times like we felt like the one camera, because basically it's 4 cameras on the sides that are projecting over on the side.
So is it some kind of concentric, like I would have to see it. I will have to give it a Google because I'm curious.
Because I saw Beetlejuice like that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The perfect way to describe it is certain scenes would happen on one side of the screen. It would start on one side of the screen, on like to your right.
Yeah.
And end with on the other side.
Oh, really? Yours did that? Delvin, mine did, or almost all just like both always all the time over here.
So it was oh boy.
So what would happen was like when I watched Beetlejuice, the primary action would happen on the front screen that you would see.
Yes.
So let's say like people are arguing something like that. But let's say somebody walks in the room, you can look on the right hand side and see them walking in the room.
Yes.
And then walk in the frame. It's pretty cool.
It's interesting when it's well done because even like when you're going in space, when we'll talk about this film when they're like going through hyperspace or whatever you call it,
FTL,
FTL, you felt fast because it was the way it was showing on the sides. That worked really well. So I feel like this is a technology that will get better over time.
Emerging technology.
Often at time, the theater felt brighter than it should have at times. So I felt the main screen felt less bright.
Interesting.
Less and so it is a weird one because they've been talking about it. I'm like, I didn't expect to do this, but when I looked at it, there was a $10 screen I couldn't get into. There was like the main screen that's like $15, and then I had this one. I'm like, I'll just do that. So that was an interesting viewpoint for mine.
Wow.
But there's IMAX, there's 3D, there's many ways to see it. So Charlie, how did you see this? You saw this movie twice?
I did end up seeing it twice. That wasn't the original plan. I was going to see it Thursday. My dog had the procedure; he had to get knocked out, and April didn't want to leave him when she brought him home. So I called up Jonathan Snedeker, my best bud, who records with us. I said, "Free ticket, let's go see it." That was in regular 2D, and then of course April is an enormous Fantastic Four fan. So she's like, I got to see it this weekend, hands down. So we did, we were going to do IMAX, but in IMAX, we just go in and we sit in the front row and it's like, okay, it's a bigger screen. It's not a big deal, but we decided to go because the times jumped around. We decided to do 3D. Which I haven't seen a 3D movie since Avatar. I don't love Avatar, but that's the only way to see it, right? So this in 3D, definitely kind of a cool experience. You know, like when Shia LaBeouf is standing in front of her master in this film, it's her, and then it's the big out of focus, but she is like right in front of your face, where what appears beyond seems massive and out of focus, and it's really does give you that nice perspective, kind of the depth of focus, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah,
Delvin, how did you see
advocate that? Yeah,
I also saw it in real 3D.
Oh, okay.
Because what happened was when I saw it Thursday night, I guess opening night. Mm-hmm. And when I was buying the tickets, everything was sold out.
I love it.
And the real 3D area was completely empty.
Oh, wow. You sit in the theater by yourself?
Yeah, they like when I went to look, there was no tickets sold for that. So
that's so crazy.
So I was like, I'll just take this. So so I took that. When we got to the theater, there was people in there, but it was nowhere near full.
Yeah.
Everything else was full, by the way.
Yeah, mine was though I went to a Saturday noon 3D and there were not many people there, but it was Saturday noon and on a nice day. So, but Thursday I thought was pretty busy. I'd love to hear that it's selling out. I want this movie to do really well because I liked it so much. But yeah,
I saw it Sunday at 2 p.m. Very good theater. Saw it there. Saw it in the Screen X. So yeah, so that's kind of just the baseline of how you can see this film. Great. So overall, the film is doing very well. Obviously, the Rotten Tomatoes score is great, and I feel like this is an awesome time to be a fan of comic book movies, especially these franchises that I feel like need some love. So with that, let's get into our actually overview of the film in regards to our feel of the film. And not necessarily deep dives because we're going to handle that in the spoiler cast.
Keep it
kind of like our very spoiler free, but just kind of like where we felt this film. So, Delvin, you kick it off. How did you feel this film, and what is your rating? We go at 9. We go basically a score of 10. 100% score, 1 out of 10. What would you give this film? But basically, before you do that, tell us what you thought of this film and what got you to the score you're going to give it.
I think. This is not saying much. I think this is the best Fantastic Four movie, and it's not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Movie feels well thought out. I like all the casting for the roles. I know people were saying they didn't like Reed Richards for what I've been seeing, but I think Pedro Pascal did a pretty good job as Reed Richards. I think he played it in a very unassuming way, and I really appreciated his acting chops in it. I liked everything they did in the movie. Galactus looks and felt fantastic. It's really cool seeing that character on the big screen and it be Galactus.
So big.
I kind of really dug that. I kind of dug that we got a different take on the Silver Surfer, maybe a lesser known version of Silver Surfer, but still overall, it's the Silver Surfer.
Right.
Everything that made the Silver Surfer badass is in this character.
Surfing. There was surfing in this movie.
Yes.
Oh, so cool.
I really dug that. I dug that all the Fantastic Four characters feel like they're supposed to feel. Like Reed feels like Reed. Thing feels like Thing. Johnny Storm feels like Johnny Storm. Visible Woman feels like a Visible Woman. And they add so much to their characters by the little things that they do with the characters. And I will get into that in the spoilers.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was to rate this, I'd probably give it a 7.5 because I don't think it's because it's a bad. I think the movie is a perfectly good movie. I just never been a Fantastic Four fan, so for me to enjoy it, because to me, honestly speaking, the Fantastic Four always felt they were corny.
Yeah. We were talking about that in the B-roll, which I get it. As a kid reading it, you're like, unless you're reading it in the 60s when it's all brand spanking new.
What are you talking about? Adults doing adult things with brothers and sisters? Every kid wants to read a comic about that.
And the thing I always thought about the Fantastic Four was like, they're kind of lame, but their villains are really cool.
Totally.
Like
lots of great
Galactus,
villains.
Dr. Doom.
Greatest villain of all time.
Annihilus.
The negative
awesome
zone,
villains.
right? Frightful Four.
Frightful Four. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, big time.
So
Awesome.
crazy.
Awesome. All right.
So 7.5. Okay, great.
Okay.
Considering your love of the other films, that's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, considering
Way up
my love
here.
of other films, this is
That's
like
good stuff.
platinum.
That's good. That's good. All right, I'll jump in. Lifetime fan. I was telling Delvin in the pre-roll. This was a comic book household. Both my brother and I. We had the Marvel subscriptions because that was and we had local comic shops, so I picked comics up that way as well. But we got the old school mailed flat in the brown wrapper, no protection. It was a Days Sport poly bag. But of the books my brother got, he was the Fantastic Four guy, but the comics, and he got the Nom, and I think G.I. Joe was quote unquote his. The Nom, yes.
All the kids love the Nom.
Well, my brother did, but he was into that kind of stuff. He's an Air Force guy. So, I read it all the while. So I came in just as the very best run of the Fantastic Four was ending. So as the burn run ended, and then we got in, that's when the Thing returned to the team, and it was a whole big thing.
Did we get the Sue Storm dominatrix look
No,
after
that preceded me. That was when she took the Invisible Woman name, which is also something I loved about this, is that we didn't have that mess. But yeah, I've been a fan all the while. April's a great big fan because she grew up reading her brother's copy. So this is a Fantastic Four. We really dig the FF in this house. And the massive disappointment of what we had in 2015 and the toothless 2-part thing in the early aughts, and then the Corman thing that doesn't really exist. It's all a huge disappointment. So going into this movie, just not knowing, but for sure, but the trailers that we experienced and the characterization of what we wanted, and the great fact that every member of this team had something to do and they contributed to the ultimate plot of this film has never been done before with these characters. That was one of the things that I absolutely loved the best, and I'll dig more into that in spoilers, but there was one thing on the CGI side that's going to ding my love of this. So I'm going to do an 8.5 for this. Maybe a 9, probably a 9. But there was one thing on the CGI side that really annoyed the piss out of me, which I'll talk about in a moment here, that actually takes a whole point away from me. So yeah, God, great film. Go see it. Todd.
I'm giving this a 9. I loved that they pulled off the aesthetic of the 60s.
Nailed it.
That feels like they nailed the era. They nailed the fact that they didn't have to revisit the origin story once
Hallelujah.
again. They nailed with how they presented it, with it kind of like it felt like a CBS or type of like television production.
Right.
How they lived in that era. Even in the post credit scenes, you watch it where they do the credits where they're showing like lunch boxes and the cartoon, and
right.
It's great. And the fact that this is a different world, even say right up front, this is what Marvel
it was Earth 828.
Yes,
absolutely. So it's basically this is 4 years into a team that is well beloved. It is part of the structure of this universe, and they are part of a celebrity culture. Right.
They followed the exact time frame of when the book started, 1961. So the bulk of this film takes place in 1965, and they're the only superheroes on their world, which is cool. We've not really had that before. Well, Spider-Man, I guess Toby's Spider-Man, we had that because there weren't other characters. There wasn't an Avengers on that world. He came out and said, "Wow, what are the Avengers? Is that a band?" Don't you remember in the Tom Holland Spider-Man? Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the fact that this is a world where it's 4 years after they debuted. They kind of had a TV audience to say, we love these people. Right. And this is why. And this is a recap of how they is. This is almost like a TV presentation. It's like must-see TV, those type of things. So I just love the way they incorporated it in the world of technology. Some of the things they do where they're printing out things on records, essentially.
Yeah, the
vinyl archives, which is great. Their costumes, which are feeling more like sweaters than actually real gear.
Right.
It's the Art Deco effect. It was so amazing. I love this. And I love the fact that this is not a spoiler, but the fact that they essentially talked about all of the different villains they managed through their like entry, which is amazing. Because I've always said this, we need heroes to have some type of like history of what they've done. I don't need to see every villain dies face down, but the fact that it can't always be like the first time, and they did a great job with some really goofy stuff, which I love. Some of the characters the villains they introduced was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
what you say, Delvin?
I say I appreciate that for that recap they used the lesser known villains.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, okay, these are the ones you don't expect to see. So like, all right, we're gonna put them in this little montage, and this is what happened with them.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it was so fun. And the way they show their powers and their abilities, how they work together. And the fact that, they got to actually create a universe very quickly. Is amazing. I love that. And this feels like a lot of people talked about this. The fact that, hey, this is the MCU done right, because they don't have to really really pivot hard to do this right. So I loved all of these things. I love the relationships. The characters are amazing. Vanessa Kirby, man, she nailed this out of the park.
Right.
I mean, talk about a mother, her character, all the things she had to do versus everybody else. Nobody else had to give birth and kick off her pants.
In space.
To do it. I mean, and I don't know if that's spoilers now, but I think it was amazing.
We're there.
Yeah.
I would dare say she was kind of the main. I would say she was the main character of the movie, wouldn't you?
Oh, she's the heart of the
film. Lead. Yeah. She was. All right. Are we ready to down? Todd, you gave the rating. Are we? Let's
9. 9 out of 10. I love this film. I'm so happy for Marvel to do this. And I had really weird conventions about where this movie was going to go. And it defied them. So I give them credit for making me feel like a fool when I thought I knew it was going to happen. So there you go, folks. That is it.
Surprises are so rare, and the beauty of this is last spoiler-free thing. This is a homework-free movie. You don't need to know a thing. You could take your grandmother to this movie, and she's never heard of the Fantastic Four, and she might even like it because she lived in the '60s. Who knows?
Yeah. And my wife went with me. She loved this. She thought it was great. She loved their approach to it. My son said, "I don't want to go because Pedro Pascal. I've seen him as many different characters. I can't buy him as." Once again, a different character. So he is that
he missed out.
Yeah, I have a hard time
That's too bad.
into it. But he did love Superman. So we'll see where it goes. So so that's where we land. So if you are interested in spoilers going forward, move forward with us. If you're not, then watch the movie and come back and listen to the show. We're at 128.25. That's where we end up with the podcasting. But from there, we're ready to go with spoilers. So let us go.
Hey guys, it's Charlie breaking in here. We were so excited when we were talking about Fantastic Four First Steps that I forgot to read some of these great notes that we had from our users and people who enjoy our show, and also a clip from a couple of people that we work with in the industry that we've met through doing our Patreon spotlight. So let me run these down real quick, super quick. Patreon supporter and very good friend of the show, Kurt Krug, had to say, I enjoyed it very much. An FF movie worthy of Stan and Jack, and FF fans have been chomping at the bit to see for decades. Vanessa Kirby was great as Sue, reinforcing why Sue is my favorite FFer, followed by Ben. They did a good job with the Thing and Torch. They gave Torchy something else to do besides flame on and to just pick up women. Couldn't agree with you more. Patreon supporter Cam the Movie Man over on Instagram had to add, saw it last night and loved it. Can't disagree with that. Andy, who is on our SFU Discord and a great supporter of the show. I've worked with her, and that's our friend over in Norway. I saw it last night and loved it. Oh, excuse me. Very enjoyable movie, good performance, and a balance between action and story. The family felt like a family. Galactus was scary, and the world building and scale reminded me of the first Avengers film in a good way. Also, Sue using her powers so that she could see the baby before it was born was one of the coolest uses of superpowers that I've ever seen. I agree. This is where we get kind of exciting. We have a quote from Tom DeFalco, editor of Marvel Comics in the 80s and the 90s into the 21st century as a writer and just a legend. Todd and I had the opportunity to talk to him over on our Patreon a couple of weeks back. It's also been on our free feed. Search it out. You can find it. Via Messenger, he said, Fantastic Four First Steps has heart, action, A great cast and really nails the characters. A wonderful roller coaster ride for any true Marvel fan. Agreed. Fabian Nicienza, another one, a comic scribe and Marvel legend who Todd and I got to talk to. From Messenger, pretty much everything I could have hoped for out of a Fantastic Four movie. Thank you for everybody for chiming in, particularly to Fabian and Tom DeFalco. We're grateful for your partnership. And now let's wrap up this show. All right. First and foremost, I mentioned, and this is not a portrayal I feel like ever has happened before, everybody had something to do. Johnny Storm, and again, even when they we're going, like in 1961, they're going up in a test flight, they're like, Sue is the idiot girlfriend of Reed Richards, and she wants to bring her kid brother on the flight, and Ben's a test pilot, so it's like Ben and Reed are the men, and Sue is the cowering little woman, and her brother is an idiot and whatever. In this movie, they all were intellectual equals to a degree. I mean, nobody's as smart as Reed, but Ben, best pilot in the world, Johnny, linguist, thinker, creator, Sue, diplomat, founder of basically what is the United Nations, the Future Foundation. Great two-time cameo of an empty chair in front of the Latveria. At the United Nations. I love that. But that was the thing. Head and Shoulders, I think that was one of the best things about this film. And they found a way to elevate Sue, a woman in this film, without feeling like the scene in Endgame where all the women drop down and they're like, now the women are going to kick ass. She earned everything she kicked ass. She felt about it. She didn't kick ass just by blowing things up with her powers, although very conclusively proved at the end of this film that she is the most powerful member of the team and always has been, because she defeated Galactus. It was her. She
showed that, like the movie told you in so many words, that she is the leader of this team.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that was really cool to do that. Like, hey, Reed might be the smart one, but this team is led by Sue Storm.
And they live in this great 1960s where it's not, New York isn't disgusting. People are kind of nice to each other. They don't seem to have problems, with the same kind of race or sexism in the same way. But of course, it was touchstones.
This is the very much feeling like if New York was like a
comic book,
and you had I can just go to the store. It's like Seinfeld's version of New York in 1960. It was very much so.
One of the things I loved about this was the portrayal of Yancey Street.
Yes.
I thought the way that they fleshed out Yancey Street and made it feel lived in,
right,
in like a neighborhood that you've seen the thing goes in regular. He's just walking around his neighborhood.
Right. No Yancey Street gang trying to mess him up. He's happy to be home. He's not. I mean, one of the hallmarks of the Ben Grimm character is that he's tortured. I'm a monster. No one can love me. Everybody loves him. And he loves everybody. Yeah. The kids are like, pick up the car, flip the car around, and all this different stuff. So let me jump in and inform you on who I was going to say Susie Rosman is, Rachel Rosman is. She is an original character because I had to look her up. Roz was Kirby's wife. So Kirby's wife was the physical incarnation of the New Gods character over in DC, Big Barda. I did read that. But
really?
Take a look at her. Take a look at that art. That's how it was the article that I read. So
that's my wife, Big Barda.
Yeah, exactly.
He like to be called Big, right, Delvin?
Did he get a big punch in the nuts after he did that? I would imagine. Yeah, exactly. Women like it when you talk about their weight.
I was going to say, Charlie, it was a nice moment when things are going down and Ben is checking in on
Rachel. Right,
because the Jewish center,
right,
which is a touchstone of Ben's. He's Jewish, and going in there, which is great.
Quick sidebar: Eben Mas Bacharach, who is from Boston, is Jewish. I did find it weird and probably a little like they probably shouldn't have done that. He is wearing a B, which I'm assuming stands for Boston, or it means Ben. I'm just going to say it means Ben because there's no way somebody from New York City is wearing a Boston Red Sox hat. That's kind of a no-no.
Yes.
So I was a little weirded out by that. But the more I think about it, maybe the B just stood for Ben. Because but yeah, he said, I loved, Todd, to your point, talking about that scene. She's like, what can I do for you? Did you come here for guidance? So she's obviously a religious official in some regard. She says, no, I just wanted to see how you were doing. But they don't get ridiculous. Like, now we're having a big romance, and she's making out with the rock man.
No, it was very touching, and she smiled, and that's all we needed.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we needed.
And I felt like, yes, there was a moment when he talked about, he saw himself in the TV where he's like this, and then he got changed, so he got like that. But I like the fact that Ben was also worried about his appearance, so the fact that he needed to shave and he had the beard, which I thought was fun. And I'm like asking Chris, I'm asking my wife, I'm like, well, does his toenails grow?
Well, and what about the
Delvin? I mean, yeah, we're both bald. Obviously, we don't have to worry about much here, but I mean, obviously, your beard and things like that. So, I mean, do you think it was all about you think his toenails grow?
I was wondering how did he cut that stuff.
He doesn't have he looks like he's using like a belt, like a rock sander or like a rock polisher to shave. It was a fun bit. And I had our friend Andy over in Norway on the Discord was asking me because she loved the film. We have a quote from her later on, but she says, does he have a beard in the comics? I'm like, I don't think so. Reed does from time to time have a beard in the comic, but he's just a normal dude. So it's no big deal for him to shave. Especially. Exactly. So, but yeah, absolutely incredible. Yeah, Reed's this incredible genius. They have a rocket ship, which they go into like an FTL ring, kind of like what they have in Star Wars. That's how Obi-Wan's ship travels in one of the Star Wars movies. And they go into a wormhole, and they go to this, and they portray how Galactus does his thing. I like the portrayal of Galactus's vessel as opposed to the way it is in the comics, where it's a bunch of like pipes. This was just like it looked like a big like metal grinder or something. It was perfect for eating planets. It was pretty awesome. And you saw once they got sucked in as they're walking that there's, big processing, like it's moving all the rubble and stuff. So it's very real. And the 3D kind of made it.
The tubes of the internet leading all the pipes into all the pipes. It's like, that's the big thing with Galactus in this. It talks about his insatiable hunger, which is a curse, which means he can't stop himself because he's essentially saying, I have no control over this hunger. I just have to move forward because essentially it never stops. I need to live. Right. And I've got this herald, which will lead me to find planets that can satiate at least as much as I need, which brings us into Shalabal, which leads us into like how she was brought in. That was a great connection with all of these things. So Delvin, I'm going to ask you really quickly. Norton Rad is the primary.
Right. What do you think about?
Did you care that was Shalabal?
No. I didn't care because you could always bring in Norton Rad. It's not like you can have either one or the other. You can have both. People keep trying to like make this big deal about it, but
Yeah. I had to slap down our friend Kurt, who has a quote later on, but he says, well, I didn't like that they had a female one, and I'm like, but it was part of the story. He was like, yeah, you're right. So I said, don't play that card, man. Don't be an old white guy who just says, well, I don't like that they changed a thing and blah, blah, blah. If they did it for no reason, like in the 2015, where it's like, Johnny Storm is Michael B. Jordan now. Why? It didn't make any sense. Didn't have anything to do with the story. Yes. Why is the Thing naked? Why? You know what I mean? It's just but do it for the story, right? So I think that absolutely, to your point, nailed it.
And she's an established character in the comic books.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely right. So one thing, I guess, maybe even factoring into how I was feeling about why I lowered the score a little bit. I know that they have to make Galactus a villain, but Todd, as you were describing, Galactus is this was a line from Star Trek once, like a whale who roams the ocean eating cuttlefish. He is not evil; he is feeding. So in a lot of ways, that is how Galactus is portrayed in the comics: is that he's just surviving. Where when we finally see him in the third act and he crashes on Earth, he seems very cruel and malicious, and his goal is to take this child because the child can cure him, or that's what he says. So he's very much more eviler, I guess, than I would expect. But that's cinematics. You've got to have a bad guy. in a situation like this. But yeah, Galactus never really struck me as the biggest of villains. He was just the whale in the ocean who was eating tiny fish because they would go into his mouth as he was going along. So I don't know. That was one point in this.
I thought was interesting about this.
Please.
The solution to Galactus kind of is shitty if you really think about it.
A little bit.
Like they just moved Galactus
somewhere
else so he can terrorize other people.
Yes.
In fairness, and this was one thing I said to April when we got home. I said, what do they do with his ship? It's just in Earth orbit. They can't like move it, right? They're not like going to send a couple tow trucks up there and like, oh, we got to take it to the impound yard. So, and that's how he eats planets, right? So basically they kind of sends him to die wherever they send him because he's just gonna starve, or maybe Shia LaBeouf's maybe she's gonna kill him or something. So they kind of killed him, but he kind of had it coming. So, but yeah, he's gonna start because he didn't get his ship.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I foresee this as being something because I'll be honest. So, for anybody that saw Thunderbolts, there was the end credits where we saw the Fantastic Four ship.
Right.
I really thought the flim flam was going to be they couldn't stop Galactus from killing their universe.
Yeah,
so
I thought that was going to be flim flam too.
I was so glad that was not the case. Oh, I was elated.
I was so surprised.
I was elated because you're right. It seems super obvious that they're like, we can't do it. We're out of here. Where it becomes obvious.
We'll protect you, and oops, and we're going to save ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
But we did get the end of this movie is the 4 years forward where we do get, hey, they're still there,
right?
And so what's going to happen next? So obviously,
flim flam is now.
Sure.
I think they actually sent Galactus into the current universe.
They sent him into 616.
That could be it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's like, what's he going to do in this ship? And quite honestly, I think Charlie, to a certain extent, I think his ship will be less for him. He could probably reassemble it. I think it's going to come down to. I think it's going to be he's going to be able to reassemble it from maybe planets around him. He's like, I can do this.
That's what he did. That's what he did in Secret Wars. He had to summon it. That's he had to summon it into the Beyonders universe in order to eat the Beyonders planet, which was his big plan.
So if anything, I think the Fantastic Four can use that vessel as maybe a learning process to do from there.
Fight
and then
back.
Obviously, then we could get Galactus finding a new Herald, and then we got Doom. That maybe we fast forward.
No, it's okay.
We had 2 end credits to this movie, and if you want any other spoilers from this, but I really do. I do want to say that I love the fact that Herbie was a part of this movie. I thought that it was such a great callback from the fact that in the 60s animated series, they couldn't show Johnny Storm because they were worried about kids putting themselves on fire. So Herbie was brought in as like kind of a goofy character.
Stopgap.
But he was brought in basically as the nanny, the character that was going to make all the food, take care of the family, which was great. And then they also represented the animated series in a different way as well, which was awesome and fun, which made you think of like, yep, that's how Marvel used to operate with bad animated series. Call back to Clobberin time, doing that thing, and we even got the really bad 70s Thing animated series where it was a kid that looked really bad, like Shaggy had a ring that said "Thing ring, do my thing," and then we had a goofy thing as well. So I love the fact that we got that last end credit scene was bringing back the hallmark of the animated series,
and then her return TV.
Yeah, but the first the first post credit scene after basically the mid credit scene, I guess you'd call it, is the fact that we are brought into Doctor Doom.
Yes.
How did you guys feel about that and how it was presented? So Delvin, when you saw Doctor Doom, his mask off in front of Franklin, how did you feel about that?
I thought it was awesome. My son has a theory about it, by the way, because I watched it with him.
Let's do it.
Tell me more.
He doesn't think that he think it's the original Doctor Doom, and the Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom is a different Doctor Doom.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He thinks his theory is they're doing the superior Iron Man thing.
Okay.
Where essentially Doom is dying and he takes the body of Tony Stark.
Okay. Oh, that's possible. Yeah. I think one of the videos that I saw, and I kind of get this, is that he's because his back is to the camera. Obviously, it's a stunt double. People were like, "Oh, it's really Robert Downey Jr." in there. No, it wasn't. I don't. I think they didn't. I think they Mandalorian this bit. I think that when he takes his mask off to show Franklin, who's 5 years old in this, and his face is probably all disfigured and stuff, and perhaps Franklin heals him at some juncture, and he becomes Robert Downey Jr. Who's to say? But it's nice that we have that. We got 18 months to have all these fan theories before we see Doomsday, before we see really what's going on. Yeah, I think it was well done. That part of it was well done. They didn't really belabor it. People in the know knew that we were moving in that direction, but it wasn't so heavy-handed. Like, and here's Dr. Doom, and it was just scary.
An odd take, I would say. It just felt a little bit odd because obviously we're fast forward 4 years. We got Franklin as like a 5-year-old, 4-year-old,
yeah,
whatever. So that I was going to ask each of you to say your thoughts, because we are getting this is the last Marvel film before we get the next Marvel film. I don't even know what's coming from.
That's usually how that works.
Yeah. But so how do we get an Avengers team? How do we figure out what this next movie is all about, and how do we get this formed? Because I feel like there's so many coconuts in the air that we're lifting. Or
it's like Legos.
That we're juggling. How does this work? Even I don't even know.
Absolutely no idea. I'm gonna give myself over to the machine and let the machine teach me. I don't know how they're gonna put it all together. It does
seem really disjointed.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we kind of got was the Thunderbolts. Like, hey, we're forming our Avengers team.
Right.
And then you hear that, Falcon is also, Captain America's also forming his own Avengers team. That's the only
who's in that? Because we don't have a series or anything telling us who's going to be on that team, which is just so weird.
Which is what made that stinger so aggravating, because it's like, we've thrown all this information to the end of it, and look, there's the Fantastic Four. So I'm glad. I'm just super glad that they didn't take, as Todd said, the super obvious at the end of it, let's fly away and then we'll fly through a big blue space hole and then we fly into Avengers Tower and then there's the new Avengers, Thunderbolts people. Glad that didn't happen like that. Self-contained movie, go watch it, enjoy it, see the stinger and be like, oh my God, who's that guy? It's a guy with a mask. It looks scary. And then the movie's over.
The Count of Monte Cristo.
Exactly. So this is going to be an interesting move forward. Yep, we are done with Marvel movies until the next big one. We've got a couple of Marvel's, one shots with Punisher. We've got Wonder Man, and I guess from there we're going to see where this goes. So with that, hopefully everybody enjoyed this spoiler-filled discussion. It's a lot of fun. The last spoiler was just the animated series, of course. So
it was just fun. It was fun.
It was very fun.
Yeah,
very fun.
Yeah. Good deal. Awesome. Well, go see the movie. It's out there now, and you're sure to enjoy it. But with that is the end of the program. Delvin, my man, I'm glad that we actually met, even though Todd swore, man. He's totally been on the show, man. He's totally been on the show. But I'm so glad to have met you.
He has been on the show, just not with you. Sorry.
There is no show without me, Todd. You've always known that. But this has been awesome. But Delvin, where do people find you out there in the inner world?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Delvin Cox, I want to say, yeah.
That sounds easy.
Find me on Twitter, which I don't really use anymore because Twitter's awful. Delvin_Cox. But if you want to hear some content, you can go check out PSVG. I'm on literally almost every show on that network. Or if you want something in the superhero realm, go on your podcast machine, tap in Justice League Mortal, which is part of the Mortalverse, and I play John Stewart Green Lantern.
Woohoo! That's awesome. Todd, what about you?
I'm on the Blue Sky at Todd Oxtra, at Secret Friends Unite, and also on the Threads, Instagram, and Facebook at Toxtra at Secret Friends Unite.
Totally awesome. Well, I can be found on my big three socials, which would be Instagram, Threads, and the Blue Sky. I am at the C3 THECEETHREE. I spend a ton of time over on our Secret Friends Unite Discord. Awesome place to have fun, safe chats about pop culture and geek stuff. I also just this week took over hosting Holocron Chronicles on our network. That is our Star Wars show. Peter, who has been my co-host of 4 years over on our Star Trek show, Code 47, is now the permanent host on there with me. We covered a very odd movie that was George Lucas's directorial debut back in 1971. It's a trip, and I would encourage you to tune in. It'll be out this week, so definitely do that. But thank you so much for joining us, everybody. As always, I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring, and keep on trucking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
In a truck.
It's Clobberin time.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.